Hola, it's me, Trashcan.
Man, this last week was a crazy week. My team ended up winning the Pokemon World Championships, and we had an undefeated run. In Winners Finals and Grand Finals, we didn't lose a single game. 2-0 versus Renaissance and 3-0 versus Nouns Esports. I can't wait to get back to making content for you guys. To celebrate today, I'm making the Ultimate World Champion Defender Guide. I'm the best defender in the world now, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to teach you every tip and trick I know, so you can also play like a world championship. Without further ado, let's get into the guide. My first advice to aspiring players looking to improve has always been the same. Read your Pokemon's abilities. It gives you so much insight if you know everything that your Pokemon can do, what it's capable of, and more. Defenders like Blissey may look easy from the outside, but they are actually incredibly complex to play at a pro level, and they are working with many things that 99% of people don't know. For example, did you know that Blissey's passive Natural Cure and boosted auto attack always come up at the same time throughout the game? But more on Blissey later, because I'm planning to make a full Blissey guide for you guys as well. If you'd like to see that, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. At a pro level, the game was in a very unique state for Worlds. I think almost every team ran normal 2-1-2 that you would see in solo queue. This is 2 Pokemon top, 1 Pokemon in jungle, and 2 Pokemon bot. However, we were the winners of it, going undefeated, and we ran 1-1-3 almost every game. This is 1 Pokemon solo top, 1 jungle, and 3 Pokemon bottom lane. What is so unique is that 1-1-3 has been around for a long time at the top level of the game, but only recently for Worlds have most teams switched to 2-1-2. Why is that? I can give you more insight in my VOD review video coming up, but right now, I can tell you in short that the biggest reason is because Serena was so insanely strong. It is the most picked Pokemon in Worlds, but its early laning is very weak since it's mainly a top laner, and so most teams focused on helping their Serena get fed. This was usually through sending another Pokemon top with her. The reason I'm telling you this is because the defender role varies because of these strategies. In normal 1-1-3, there is a defender and a support in bottom lane with an attacker. For example, I'm the defender player for Team Slashcan and I played Blissey, and Elo is our support player who played Hoopa. However, I would argue that in a lot of team comps by the world competitors, Blissey is actually the support, and they usually run Snorlax top with the Serena, and this Snorlax becomes the defender. Now that we got all the context out of the way, I can explain to you why our way of playing was the best and all my tips and tricks for our style of playing. First off, let's start with the builds. My team ran double EXP share, which I will be making a video on that whole topic soon, but it was extremely good and no one else in Worlds really realized the full extent of it. My whole build probably looks very whack from the outside, but what most people don't realize is that it's one of the tankiest builds you can run in the game. The items in my build that I ran was Buddy, EXP Share, and Score Shield. They each give 300 plus health or even more. Buddy Barrier gives plus 400 health. And as someone who looks into the math behind this game a lot, I can tell you that health is the most broken stat in the game. What's funny is a lot of other teams in the tournament ended up copying the double EXP Share, but they didn't realize the full extent of how good my build was, so they didn't copy the Score Shield. So in my opinion, they ended up running troll builds with the double EXP share because they copied us running double EXP share that they saw before Worlds. I think a lot of viewers also struggled to realize, so I'll put a quick disclaimer. Emblems were not in play for Worlds. No Pokemon and no team had any emblems equipped of any kind. If you wanted a guide on emblems to run, I will be doing an individual guide for every Pokemon soon, like Blissey. I also already have an everything you need to know about emblems video already up on my channel. So let's talk about the laning phase and what you need to do then. The reason our strategy worked so well is because we countered the 2-1-2 lanes that were run by other teams. At the start of the game, our bot lane was so well practiced with our comps that we would usually get all 5 Audinos in the first rotation. This is so important because it allows our Hoopa to get 4 and all of us in the bottom lane to get very high level compared to other team at the start. After our Hoopa gets 4, we can simply teleport anywhere we want on the map with as many people as we want. So instead of 1-1-3, we can literally make it 1-0-4 because our jungle also comes for the 850 Bs. Since the other team is 2-1-2, they most likely do not get level 4 Hoopa if they're even running it at all. So it is very hard for them to respond effectively to the strategy. This means that we usually get most of the Bs with some kills, and we are even able to score. After this, we have many different options like jungle invading and other stuff, and so we end up with the EXP lead. Now that you know our early game strategy with 113, let me break down what you as the defender need to do. In this meta, last hitting the farm is extremely important as the defender. Whether you are practicing a combo secure burst with your attacker or just straight up out securing farm from opponents. As the best Blissey in the world, I would often get Audinos when I was 1v2 or even 1v3 in the Worlds tournament. Being able to do this is the cornerstone of being a good defender. The next thing you need to do is keep track of farm spawn timers. This is extremely important as defender, but it is also important in every other role. Audino spawn 1 minute after you kill him, and B spawn at 8:50, and then every 1:30 after that with some nuance. A rookie mistake most casual players will make is not being there when farm spawns. Experienced players will be there before the farm even spawns and kill it before you get there. However, your biggest goal through the lane is to not die. So sometimes you might not want to go for farm that spawns if you're too low health to go for it. The biggest thing you need to do when you're solo lane, especially if you're against like 3 people, is staying alive so the other team can't score. If the other team scores, it is bad because they get a ton of points in, and these points give them a lot of XP as well. Alright, so let's talk after the laning phase now. Your primary role at the first dread and Rodom is to zone for your team, create space, and support them. Soft boiled plus egg bomb Blissey is extremely strong at level 6, and it's the build I ran most games unless I needed safeguard to counter something. You should hit level 6 almost every game if you're playing Blissey correctly, and the reason level 6 is so strong is she gets 4 egg and extremely fast cooldown timers. So in the right hands, she is very strong at the first dread, and the biggest thing you want to do as defender at this point is cancel any Hoopa portal resets the enemy team might try to use and to zone for your team. Hoopa portal is extremely broken and competitive, as coordinated teams can use it to regain their entire health bars when they were all 1 HP. That's why so many teams ran Snorlax and Blissey in their comps, because you could almost cancel every Hoopa portal that was near you as Snorlax and Blissey. What is canceling a Hoopa portal? It's when you make someone airborne when the timer ends on it and they can't go through the portal to heal. Egg Bomb Blissey does this, but is extremely hard to time. Snorlax, it is much easier to do this, so that's why you see so many Snorlaxes in Worlds, because it is very easy to cancel Hoopa portals with them. I had to spend several hours practicing to be able to cancel these portals as Blissey, and I think it showed. I canceled almost 70% of the portals that were in my range in Worlds, which was way more than any other Blissey that I saw. The timing on it must be down to half a second, and if you miss that frame, you'll fail to cancel a Hoopa portal. This is just a glimpse of how extremely difficult Blissey actually is to play at a top level, and a lot of casual players do not realize that. So what do you do after first Rotom and Dread? My team generally liked to leave me solo bot. Because of my build, I had Score Shield, so after first Dread, we would score in the tier 1 goal zone, but we wouldn't break it. The reason for this is because we wanted to delay the Audinos for the other team to take. So if they left me bot, because of my score shield, I could easily break the zone whenever I wanted. Second Dreadnought is extremely important, and this is when you enter what I like to call the team fight part of the game. A lot of Blisseys, like Bruv, took a different approach than the one I'm about to tell you. They ran Energy Amp Blissey, and they would generally use their Unite to combo secure objectives, or even just try to secure it. And that's because of how much damage Bliss Unite does. What my team decided to do besides that was to go for full team fights at second dread. Even if the other team ended up getting second dread, we would be trying to kill them the whole time, so we would stay in the EXP lead if we killed them. Your positioning starting at this time on defender is extremely important. If you are playing a support type defender like Blissey, you must always stay on top of the highest damage dealer of your team. If you do this, they can dive the enemy team and you Bliss Unite them, which gives them damage reduction and increased damage for 10 seconds. Bliss Unite is the most crucial and broken Unite in the game for team fights, so it's very important that you hit the right target. If you're playing a more traditional defender like Snorlax, Mamoswine, or Mime, your goal is to create space and be the frontline for your team. We like to call it looking for an engage. The goal of your engage and how good it is depends on a number of factors, but generally the more people you are able to hit and stun with your abilities like Heavy Slam, Icicle Crash, and Confusion, the better engage you will have. You can solo win teamfights for your teams by knocking up or stunning 4 people, so be on the lookout for these kind of engages. Make sure you are communicating with your team so they can follow up immediately if you get a great engage. Throughout the mid game, you should always let your hyper carries get all the farm. This could even mean leashing the farm for them, which is getting it to 1 health so they don't have to do much work for the XP. You should always be actively looking at the minimap and make sure you are covering your pads at all times, so the enemy team can't score. The defender typically wants to be the one holding these pads, as it is the hardest to kill for the enemy team, so your team will usually get there in time to help you if they are trying to dive you. Once you get to the zap fight, it's the same stuff as the second dreadnought. As the Blissey, you want to make sure you sit on your hyper carry the entire fight, or look for great engages if you're playing someone else. How good you are as a defender will depend on how well you are able to win lane and how well you do in these team fights after. In every team comp, my team had a dedicated hyper carry I would try to unite every game. If we had a Cinderace, it was Cinder. If we had a Venusaur, it was Venusaur. And if we had a Serena, I Bliss Unite the Serena. We made sure there weren't other conflicting hyper carries I might want to Bliss Unite, so we could have the best team fight possible. I hope this guide helped you. Stay tuned for way more guides and world content videos. I plan to release a ton of them.